Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between Kislev and the Beastmen here on the Haunted Vale. It's going to be myself with Mother Ostankia facing off against Orange Pest, who's going to be rocking the OG Morker the Shadowgave, certainly taking it back to the old school here. And we're going to be going for a very wide Kislev build, so I figured let's just get a bunch of thick, angry, muscular Slavs and push forward and see if we can suffer the wrath, or endure the wrath of the Beastmen charge. I'm sure there'll be some suffering as well. But as far as the build goes, it's going to be Kislev Warriors in the front, which will be moving into the backfield if they get shot by Raiders, backed up by Armored Kossars, which are very good in this matchup. Vulnerable against Minotaurs, but their hybrid shooting is good against most of the Beastmen things, like Centaurs, Minotaurs, Razorgors, all have kind of lowish armor, so they make a good staple. In the back row, it's going to be archers, so we got Kossars with spears. I like them quite a bit. If they get attacked by Centaurs or any of the Beastmen mass, they can at least hold their own, whereas I think it's worth the extra 50 gold. Some people do go cheaper and just get the ones without the spears, but I think it's just so good. So that's basically the whole build. It's just a front line of warriors backed up by armored Kossars and then Kossars with spears. In reserve, we have like winged lancers, bear cav, couple other units like that. But this is the forbidden tech of the build. Mother Ostankia is definitely not popular in the meta. Lore of Hags isn't considered to be super amazing, but the bear launcher is actually quite good. But I think the sleeper sauce in this matchup is the Malediction of Madness. So there's a rampage ability on Kislev. You can rampage them, it lowers their stats, and pulls them to their doom. Now, one way that the Beastmen often give you trouble is with their mobility. Their Centaurs, Centaurs of Tzeentch, Minotaurs, and being able to take away your opponent's agency with those units and pull them to their doom into your favorable situations, I think is just so freaking good. So that is going to be the Malediction of Madness there. Now, looking at the Pest build here, in the front line, he does have Unga Bunga Spearmen. Raiders in the secondary, very good. Raiders are good against things in the woods, good against the Kislevite Warriors. In general, just very cost-effective. Morker the Shadowgave is a little bit off meta, but he's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Butchers of Kalkengard, auto-take in most matchups, and a couple Zangors as well. So the bear launcher going down, and Mother Ostankia does have a perpetual kind of catapult she shoots out of her cauldron, which is, it's a nice little icing on the cake here, as she is going to be shooting into some of these units. And the Warriors of Kislev will be advancing up. Now, this is one scary part of the matchup. The Beastmen are so good at getting up on the objective quickly. Like, their Vanguard capabilities are really, really nasty. And one of the reasons why I think they have such a high win rate is because by the time you get to them, by the time you can even get an objective from them, they're already up to like 150 points, right? Which is crazy good. But we're going to be trying to value trade here. The Kossars unleashing their pistol fire, and Grandma also going to be unleashing some pistol fire as our archers do start to saturate in and poke down the Unga Bunga Raiders, so they do take some work, as our archers do have better range. We got 140 range against their 115, as would be expected here. So I realized I didn't really have a good way of dealing with Morker, so my plan was to just tar pit him with things in the woods and hope, but immediately Orange Pest able to get a really good target. Putting the Ungor Raiders on the things in the woods is an excellent play. So that certainly hurt a little bit and, was making me sweat some bullets. One thing I'm also doing here is taking a very wide fight, which I think is a mistake. I try to engage in a very wide front. Beastmen are great at overwhelming weak points, so I think I should have gone a little bit tighter and just played only objective one and value traded, but, it is what it is. Hindsight is 20/20. So charging into the Minotaurs, they get a beautiful charge, and these poor Kislevite Warriors are going to have a terrible time. Granted, we have some supporting help. The Kossars the Spears are going to put some bowfire down, and the Warriors will hold for quite some time. Kislev, of course, very, very stalwart. But in the main battlefield here, we do have the Armored Kossars breaking this position, and on the outside, we do have some Centaurs coming in. And now you get to see the first usage of the Malediction of Madness. So we're going to rampage these bad boys, and they're just going to charge straight into halberds, which is going to be great for me. I do also have bowfire on them. So instead of them flanking around and harassing my backfield, they get lured into halberd units. Grandma's going to go over there as well on her chariot and help out a little bit. And that's a huge win for us, taking those bad boys offline. We do also break the Beastmen front line here, and the Armored Kossars penetrating through. Archer is able to break the enemy archers. So there are some engagements that are going well. Like over here, the whole situation is pretty good. But on this side, it's a little bit dodgier. Granted, the Kislevite Warriors did hold their own and were able to buy some time. As Morker, the Pimpclaw here, does summon the Chaos Spawn, and they are going to be battling the Mordheim Beowulf. So that was a good usage of it. The things in the woods in general, low armor, they don't like to take damage from things that hit really hard against light, which is like Chaos Spawn in a nutshell. So very, very good usage of Morker right there. So pulling back are the Kossars of Spears, so I realize I'm losing this side, so we need to consolidate our forces. I am up in value a little bit, so both of us are trading, pretty evenly here in this game, I do dare say, as the Armored Kossars continue fighting against the Centaurs. And now the Polish cavalry have arrived. It's going to be the Winged Lancers. So they're going to couch their lances here in a minute, and we're going to be charging right into the Goreherds with shields, plowing through some of those units, relieving the forces, and they are going to be sending those Beastmen off to another dimension. And I'm sure that charge did a bunch of damage and essentially just broke that Goreherd unit. So you got to love the Kislev Shock Cav, super cool. So it looked like it was rough for us over here, but the Kislev warriors are very tenacious and hard to kill, and they were able to push up, and we have a lot of halberds, which will be pretty cost-effective against the Butchers of Kalkengard. So they're going to move in, and the Kossars of Spears will also fight back okay, right? This is what you pay the extra 50 gold for, is the spears, and they're also going to be shooting at point blank here with their bows, which will do some nice damage. So now I know I need to stabilize my backfield. I started to pull ahead in value pretty hard. We're going to be rolling over a lot of the units in the back using the mighty cavalry, so the winged lancers coming in. The hussars have arrived, and the Blackhorn's Ravagers just getting plowed by the glorious charge of the Kislev Cav. And on this side, we also find some good engagements as well. We call it some Kossovite dervishes, and just got to keep getting these incremental value trades. As Mother Baba Yaga here, she is Babcha, is going to be getting the Malediction of Madness, locking down those Centaurs, but unfortunately I was hoping they would run this direction, but they went here, but it's still okay. They're going to be rampage for another 6 seconds, and that's going to allow me to get a big charge with my Beowulfs, as well as the Dervishes. Centaurs have pretty low melee defense, so getting charged like that is going to hurt pretty bad, and we just fold them up. They take so much damage. So big value lead starting to form here as the Kislevite warriors do start to win on the points here. The Kossars in the back going to be scooting up the bow line, able to stabilize, and the Warhammer Slavs continue to push on. Armored Kossars able to hold the point down. A couple warriors are sandwiched, but the great part about Kislev is they're basically unbreakable. So even if you're sandwiched in bad situations, they will fight for a long time, which makes sense. They're the bastion in the north. They know if they stop fighting that everyone's going to get massacred. So they kind of, the Empire has a lot of, disposable territory and more disposable soldiers, being a much bigger empire, whereas Kislev, like, everyone's like, we got to preserve everything we can. And the mentality as that's portrayed, I think, is very, very cool. But yeah, the Kislevite warriors going to be anchoring here, and the Kossars with spears getting some nice bow shots, but currently need to be given better targets. Morker does blow his last payload here of the Chaos Spawn, but the Winged Lancers, we get around the back of the formation and are going to be preparing to sandwich these guys, although it looks like I did get caught up on some units, so kind of screwed up my charge order there. But overall, the Cav here is just doing huge punishment on this side. They've been able to roll over most of the Beastmen reinforcements. Warriors coming in. And this is another great usage of the Malediction of Madness from Grandma. You can rampage spear units, and then they're not going to brace. They'll charge you, and then you just charge them and just plow them, right? So these guys are braced right now. Charging them would be a disaster. But now they're going to be rampage. Their melee attack is put down to 1, so their chance to hit is like literally 15%. And the Polish cavalry will be summoned to charge once again. Lances couched for Urson. Grandma going to be charging in as well, and they're going to get punted pretty good. The spears, they definitely took it like champs, but you can see they lost about 40-50% of their HP, and the dervishes are going to be flanking around the back, just absolutely fold over those spear units right there. So that was pretty good for us. In the meantime, Flock of Doom's going down, or Traderkin. Traderkin is a pretty good damage spell. It's basically like a Melkos kind of Flock of Doom type effect. But we do manage to control most of the objectives, and what's going to happen now, most likely, is that the Cav Corps, the Mighty Relief Force, the Winged Lancers, as well as the Dervishes and Grandma, are going to be able to just roll through the battlefield. And we're going to be replacing them on Objective 3 with one of the Kislevite Warriors, who's just going to be anchoring that down. In the meantime, the Beastmen forces, couple Minotaurs still fighting, but eating a lot of arrows at about 1700 HP. Morker being an absolute menace. He's been grinding, and his spawn summons have been very cost-effective. I mean, he himself doesn't usually get a ton of value, but those spawn are no joke. Armored Kossars fighting it out versus the Ungors over here should be able to win that. Winged Lancers able to move across and liberate Objective 2 from the enemy, as the Kislevite Warriors should be able to easily hold on to Objective 3. Advancing up in the back are more Cav units, so we do get another Dervish to come clear up the backfield. And the Beastmen are definitely running on fumes. 9.5 against 7.3. We do get another Rampage, and it's not just a Rampage. It also lowers their damage by a lot. 50% base damage mitigation, and it lowers their melee attack, so the damage output of these Centaurs suddenly is just god-awful. They have like the minimum chance to hit you. Their weapon strength is like almost cut in half. And yeah, it's actually, I think, a really underrated spell. Beautiful Traderkin coming in for the pest there, though. He does manage to nail those units. As the Butchers of Chattengard going to be heading over here, but Kislev does have a pretty rock-hard triple cap here, as the Kislevite Warriors should be able to hold that point down. Kossars are back online. This fight's a little bit messy, though. The Butchers of Kalkengard are a very scary unit, and there are going to be some Zangors coming in to reinforce. So Mother Ostankia going to be escaping the position. Grandma, her schemes must be unfurled elsewhere. Winged Lancers, though, that glorious charge bonus, they do get the charge bonus and flanking bonus on regular charges, which is very, very good, and they are able to fold up that position. Grandma going to be scurrying away as dervishes come in. Kislev warriors in droves, Kossars with spears, and the Beastmen are basically dead on the field. They do have a couple of Blackhorns Ravagers coming in and Ungors as well, but the warriors should be able to arrive back on this objective and stabilize that. But even still, we could comfortably win on just 2 objectives, and the Beastmen are basically, they don't have anything over here. We have 2 Kislev warriors rolling in. Grandma's going to roll over with some of the dervishes and should be able to clean up this position moving in, and the warriors moving in as well, and that's going to be GG. So honestly, I was doing a training session with Orange Pest, and we were on mic during that game, and I was like, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know how to beat this. Like, I feel like I'm just losing horribly. But then suddenly the Kislevites just emerged and started pushing back the Beastmen on a bunch of fronts. I was like, all right, I'm not going to ask questions. I guess the build worked fine. I really like the Rampage. I thought the Rampage really helped me dictate the pacing of the game. I did have a Frostworm as well. Although arguably, I don't know if you need the Frostworm. Yeah, I mean, Terror is always pretty good against Beastmen, but yeah, I like the wide build, and in case he went, I brought the things in the woods in case he went Bestigors, which I think are pretty good. So we talked about his build after the game a little bit. I think the Zangors are not the way to go there. I think you need more Corngors. But aside from that, the build is fine. Traderkin got 1,600 value. Probably more Centaurs with Grey Opens to mix in instead of regular Centaurs. Like, you want both, but some more Grey Opens too. Cut these guys, get 4 Corngors in the build, and it would be way, way harder for me, I think. So GG, well played. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We will see you all on the other side, and we will be back with more replay soon. Cheers.